Good morning. I have no idea how well this is going to work because I'm literally rushing around like I was last time. So, oh God. Last time I did a get ready with me, I had 10 minutes before I was going to a wedding and I made an absolute hash of it, but I looked fine. And I was talking in a really stressed way, nice and quietly. And this time it's not going to be much better. Look, my cat has already decided that's where he wants to hang out. It's just up there. That's helpful. And I've got 15 minutes until I'm meant to be part of a photo shoot because I am launching an anthology, and I kind of want to talk to you about that this morning. But also, last time I did my makeup, it's like a get ready with me and talk to you about life and stuff. My makeup box hadn't been dropped on the floor, thanks to someone. So I'm having to as I go, if I keep looking down, that's because I'm trying to work out where the fuck my next step is, because I follow a very samey routine. I can speak English too, I swear to God. Right, so I've washed my face, let's chuck some moisturiser on, and then I've got to try and rummage for my primer. So just to quickly give you a brief rundown of this anthology. When I did my masters, one of the modules, because basically when you do a master's for creative writing, you do your own dissertation. So you do a main project, which is 40,000 words. that's a lot of words. And you have to write that in a year. But you get tutors and things to help you. You then do workshops twice a year, as in 2 sets of workshops, which are 6 weeks long. And you review other people's work and you give them a hand with that. And people review your work, and it becomes more of found my primer. Becomes more of a discussion process, so that you're not working on your own. You learn how to take feedback, and all these other things. And then I probably should have waited a little bit longer because I'm rushing. I'm just hoping for the best. I think it's made beeswax, both of them, so we should be okay. I'm not even going to talk to you about what products I'm using, because I literally, if you're wondering, I used exactly the same products I used last time in my other Get Ready With Me, which is just Body Shop and Arbonne to the rescue to make my skin look less haggard. So you got to choose 2 modules for the 2 semesters, because the 3rd semester is essentially just you writing your book and doing your research and stuff like that. And I chose to do historical fiction for my 2nd semester and love stories for my 1st semester, mainly because I recognised more books. So I'm looking for this and it's right in front of me. I recognised more books in the reading collection. I can speak English, I swear to God. What word am I looking for? Reading list. Oh my God, I'm so special. Right, so I recognised more books from the reading list. So it was just I'm using a brush this time because I found that the sponge, exactly Mozart, it was just not good enough, was it? Oh, you're just wrecking the place. That's cool. Yeah. Why are you crying? Yep, why are you crying? Are you done? Have you had your say? I probably should have concealed first. This is what happens when I'm trying to do 2 things at once, which is talk to you, do my makeup, and then I'm thrown a curveball of a needy cat who is now very cutely just propped up on my leg and just staring at me like, oh, Mummy, why don't you love me? I do love you. You're hella needy though. Okay, yeah, so one of the modules I did was love story because I recognised the books on the list. I was I'm not a romance reader. I've been kind of anti-romance for a while. I have been reading romance recently though. Mainly YA romance, and I'm here for it, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't judge me. What do you want? Look, if you're going to be in the video, you've got to actually be in the video so people can see how cute you are. Yeah, that's how long I stay mad at you, for exactly 0.1 seconds. Anyway, I think I've got foundation all over you now. Anyway, right. So the first book was Pride and Prejudice, and I can talk about that book for years. I would love to get paid to talk about that book. That's the dream. So I was going to go in and be well, you're new here, Hannah. Maybe don't go spouting your opinions at everyone. But my lecturer, Lucy English, who you will have seen me championing on Twitter recently because she's a babe, basically opened up the conversation talking about like different types of love and how there's not just like romance, like you can enjoy lots of different types of romance. And someone on Twitter described me as chaotic energy, and I've thought it for a while because I play D&D, so I was like, chaotic neutral. I don't think there's any neutral to it. I think I'm just chaotic. Anyway, so yeah, we kind of discussed the different types of romance, and I really liked that there was an emphasis on like familial romance and like friendship and platonic romance and stuff like that. And I was like, how are there all these different types of love story, and we are constantly told that, you know, we just need to find a man or find a woman and be happy. You won't be happy until you have someone, etc. And I was really here for finding my brush. Oh, here. I was really here for the idea of having like a mixture of love stories. So FATLIP is a self-published love story anthology based on my experiences of love. So it's not, I'm single, I have been single for 10 years, so there aren't going to be any stories in there where she meets the man of her dreams, because I'm straight, not just because I'm assuming, like, where she meets the man of her dreams and they run away together and live happily ever after. That doesn't happen. I still live with my parents. So equally, you could argue that maybe I'm too young to be writing a sort of like memoir in parts, but that's kind of why I've chosen to do it this way. So it's a collection of short stories. Now, I used to, when I was at uni doing my undergrad, I used to do a blog twice a week where I would talk about my drunken shenanigans, and I would talk about, I can't believe I just leant away from screen and then continue talking. I'm really good at this. I'll find my eyebrows pencil. Couldn't find it last time. Oh, found it. I've got a new one and it is not good. So you watch my eyebrows suddenly become utterly destroyed. So it's because it's the wrong shade, but I haven't got anything else. And it's either that or I just end up with these foundation cakes and it's not pretty. I used to write these blogs twice a week. Where, look how wrong that colour is. Do you see the chaos now? Do you see it? Where basically I would talk about all the stupid shit that boys said to me. They say some stupid shit to me. I don't want to spoil anything because some of my favourite stories to tell are in this anthology, and that's kind of why they're in there. But when I became a teacher, because I mentioned sex and drugs and other things that 15-year-olds should not be doing, I was told to take it down. Because basically I was told that if a parent saw it and called for my head, the school would have no reason but to agree. So that sucked, especially as I use, you won't believe this from my follower account now. So I have 40 followers on YouTube, I have 700 followers on Twitter and 400 on Insta. So nothing, basically, the social amount. Kat, if you could stop crying when I'm saying important things, that would be great. Just to show you what I'm working with, this is where everything used to be kept. This is where everything's being kept now. It's carnage. So the social amount of followers. When I had my blog, and because for the most part it was anonymous, so people didn't mind sharing it if they knew who was in the story, or they were intrigued because they knew people that were in the story, etc. I had 40,000 followers. I was making money from my blog. People were getting me to write for like Elle and like local magazines and newspapers and stuff. I was getting free tickets to events, and I binned all of that off for a teaching career. So sometimes we make choices we deeply regret, because being a teacher was fine, but it was really boring. What the fuck have I done to that? What have I done to that? We're not using that on my face. That's not a good idea. We'll go back to this one. Yeah, so I'm having to like build my way back up. The upside is I have all the statistics and stuff. So I have been writing for clients for a while now, and have been building up their business and their writing, like their, I can't remember the word now, their platforms. So I do know what I'm doing. I just know that that took me like 5 years to build, and I started this back in May. So it's gonna take a while. Anyway, but the main thing is I've got people that want me to write books for them now now that I have my master's, which is fantastic because, again, that is the dream, writing people's books and getting paid for it. But because I'm a ghostwriter, rather than just like a creative or copywriter, I don't get to tell people what I write or what it looks like or how long it took or anything. Well, I can tell them how long it took, but like I can't put my name on it. It's not my name. It's for my clients, which really doesn't bother me for the most part, because I'm just like, a lot of my clients are business people who want to write business books, and I want to write fantasy books. I mean, those two things could not be further apart, but c'est la vie. So I'm just doing my best, guys. Stop judging me. I can feel it, mainly because I'm judging myself, but if you could not, that'd be great. So yeah, so I don't mind writing business books because it's a little reprieve from fantasy, and I really don't mind writing fantasy because it's a little reprieve from everything else I'm paid to write. So it's a win-win. But anyway, I can't show people what my writing is like, and I can't sell my own writing, which is just crazy. So this anthology is kind of doing two things. One, it is throwing myself in at the deep end to kind of promote my own writing and step away from any possibility of ever teaching again, because some of the stories in this anthology are about nudes and sex and drugs and drunken flatmates bringing guys home for me. That's the thing that happens, so enjoy that one. It's potentially going to burn some bridges, but as my mum rightly pointed out, I don't really care if those bridges are burnt. I don't talk to those people anyway, so there will be some tea. That's gonna... I'm genuinely kind of nervous about that, because when I wrote the stories, I was like, oh my god, this is so cathartic, I feel so great. And then I was like, am I ever gonna see that person again? Is this gonna be an issue? We'll see. So yeah, it's all gonna be a bit crazy. So it is a kind of memoir, but it isn't, because I'm 28. Like, I've still got some life to live, I hope. So I appreciate that it's not going to be for everyone. But if you enjoy romance, or if you don't enjoy romance, or if you enjoy a memoir, but you don't necessarily want to read a memoir of someone you don't know, if you enjoy comedy, if you enjoy my content, because that's essentially what this is, if you enjoy short stories, or you've got a really long TBR, or you've set your goals really high for your Goodreads read challenge, and you're thinking, oh, I need something that's short, that's going to entertain me, that might make me cry in a couple of places, because it made my mum cry. I made my mum cry. I'm a horrible person. Deal with it. I'm an Aquarius. She's an Aquarius. It was always going to end badly. If that's the sort of thing you're looking for, then I will put the link in the description below. It's currently available to pre-order. The launch is on the 20th of March. If you are in the Kent area and you want to come to my book launch, all you have to do is message me, because we have loads of spaces left, because my mum has decided, because I keep telling her I'm never getting married because I'm never going to get a boyfriend, and none of those things are going to happen. She has decided to kind of take it upon herself to make this the wedding that I'm never going to have. We've got balloons, we've got cake, we've got a fuck off enormous hall that she's rented out that is beautiful, and feels very scary. It feels very, very scary. So if you want a party on a Friday from 6 till 9, that, I don't know why that Friday came out really Australian, but it really did. If that's the sort of fun thing you're looking forward to, literally just message me, because I'd love to meet new people, and I'd love you to buy my anthology. To kind of give you a cheeky little intro to the kinds of stories that will be in this anthology, I'll give you the breakdown of the first story, because I read this story at the Bath Festival and it went down an absolute treat. So I know that people enjoyed it. Essentially, imagine if you can, so my hair's still wet, of course it is, I'm just shaking that out. Imagine if you can, 6-year-old Hannah, she looks almost exactly the same. She's wearing a riding hat because it's cold outside, and she's in the tack room after horse riding, got rained off, which is always fun. And I'm surrounded by 15-year-olds who are all talking about the boys they fancy and what they're like, and what they look like, and blah, blah, blah. And at one point, one of the girls took pity on me and said, Hannah, who do you fancy? And I was a very precocious 6-year-old, because you don't get this kind of personality overnight. This develops over time. So I said to her, well, I fancy James Bond. I mean, I still do. And she just kind of looked at me like, what? And then they all started laughing at me, and being a precocious 6-year-old who thought she'd given the correct answer, I did not like being laughed at, and I was just kind of like, okay, fine. And they was, do you mean Pierce Brosnan? No, I do not mean Pierce Brosnan. I mean James Bond. Pierce Brosnan is an actor. I fancy James Bond. I'm not stupid. Anyway, for ages after that, after being laughed at for who I fancied, I never told anyone for ages. If anyone asked me, who do you fancy, Hannah? I'd be like, oh, I don't fancy anyone. No one exists. Anyway, fast forward to me being 15 years old, and I do fancy someone. He's very tall, very curly haired rugby player. He's beautiful. He's funny. He's like married with kids now. It's fine. I'm in love with him. I think I fancy him. I think this is what happens. So he then, like, we're like hanging out with like a group of friends of ours, and I desperately fancy him, and I'm listening to every word he says, and he's talking to me about the people he fancies, and he's kind of like describing the girls he likes and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, well, I like brunettes that are really pretty, and I like this and da-da-da. I'm like, well, that's not me. I'm sure I'm brunette, but that's where that description ends, blah, blah, blah. And not realizing that he's trying to compliment me at all. Have not worked that out. And he turns to me and goes, Hannah, who do you fancy? I'm like, no one, boys are stupid. He didn't ask me out for another 3 months, just saying, because that's cat pause. That's cat pause. You know, you've just completely upstaged me. I've just told this great story. It's better in the anthology because I really go into it, but you've just upstaged me, you absolute bellend. So yeah, that's the kind of thing you can expect in this anthology. I had considered doing like a proper staging of that story and some of the other stories, some of the longer stories. Because this is the other thing, some of them are flash fiction, some of them are short stories, so they're almost like blog posts. They're kind of short form content that you can enjoy, that you can be like, ha, oh, sad, and then move on. Like, I'm not expecting to like change the world with this. It was just really fun to write, and I thought, if I'm having to write something quickly, because I started this in September, it's being launched in March, if I had to write something quickly, it had to be fun. It had to be something that if I was taking my time with it, I could develop it a bit more. But I didn't want to write an epic 110,000 word fantasy, because I'm currently working on that anyway. So it had to feel easy. It had to feel enjoyable to do. Essentially, rounding up, now that most of my face is done, you should pre-order my anthology. You should help a girl out. So I read a lot of self-published work. I support a lot of self-published work. Self-published writers are really good at supporting each other and generally being really good friends to each other, which is great. But a lot of bookshops will not buy books from self-published authors because their theory is it's only their friends that buy it, which is kind of true. It is generally the friends. I can't decide if I want to go neutral or if I want to go bright with the lipstick. I've got all these really gorgeous Urban Decay Vice lipsticks that are meant to look like bullet capsules, which are really cool. But I genuinely, I'm going to wear, and I'm not wearing this isn't happening, but I'm going to be wearing neutral general colours. So I don't know if I should go like really, really bright, or if I should go a bit more neutral, or should I go red? Should I go cute pink? I don't know. I may potentially have too many lipsticks. My brother was telling me the other day that there was this study showing that the optimum amount of choices is between like 3 and 7. If you have fewer than 3, you don't feel like you have any choice at all. And if you have more than 7, you struggle to make a choice. And I've already got 6 lipsticks in my hand, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in total. So not the optimum amount, and that's why I'm freaking out. And I've got glitters that I can go on top of it as well. And I kind of wish that I could put a poll out and be like, guys, which one? But I also don't have time. Do I want Trist yet? It'd be great if I could actually explain to you what I'm going to do. I can't remember who it was. It was one of the ex-Disney princesses, or whatever their faces are. did this really cool thing where they looked at the camera and they were talking to you. No, not that. Where they basically put 2 colours on their lips. They put one, I really should have put this like up here so that I was like up here, but I didn't. Oh, look, the sun's come out and it's like 2 colours on their lips. They put a lighter one on the top lip and a darker one on the bottom lip, and then they're like, and then it looks really cool. So we're gonna try that out because we've got enough time that if I fuck it up, I can fix it. And I've got cat hair on my nose. That's great. I also don't wear my lipstick brushes, which means that I am inevitably going to make an absolute fucking mess of this. Haha, she found it. She found it. It's fine. Again, I think I was talking about something, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, that was it. Yeah, so bookshops don't tend to, because yeah, you're only going to buy to your friends, which is fair. I get that. I think it's wrong, and I think actually if bookshops were more willing to take on self-published work wouldn't have taken as long as it has to become as prolific. I think there are some fantastic self-published works out there. I think there are some god-awful self-published works out there. But I think there are also some really beautifully written books. And oh, it's nice when she goes quiet, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's really cruel that they kind of just say flat no to self-published books being in shops. So for all of Amazon's flaws, at least they give a platform for that. Exactly, baby. I know. You've been sat there so patiently. I know. You're such a good boy. Support self-published writers, please. They need your help. And if you're not sure, if you've never read self-published work before, or you have and you're like, oh, fair enough. They're quite similar colours. Probably could have gone a bit more daring with that one. Oh, we'll use this envelope. That'll work. Oh, such a scumbag. Anyway, that'll do. So yeah, support your, if you're not sure, if you're not convinced, give my anthology a go. It's only $4.99, so that's less than a coffee. Well, it's less than 2 coffees. It's actually a bit more than a coffee, but that's because, you know, inflation. But I only get $1.29 for every book that I sell, and I don't get that until the book is properly launched. So that all just sits in Amazon until Amazon is ready to give it to me, which is rude, but anyway. So buy my anthology, support independent writers, support independent books as well, so independent bookshops and things like that. We are all just trying our best. Moral of the story, the anthology is out. You can pre-order it. Please support me. I'd really appreciate it. And I know that seeing as I have like 0 following, I have 0 standing, and you might not want to, and I get that I'm not forcing you to. Just know that if you do, we're like best friends now. That's how this works, because it's a very intimate book and it's a very truthful book. I have not kept any kind of secrets from it. So I think if nothing else, you might want to read it just to see if you're in it. Have a nice day.